Roof rails are double panel, they get a 25% markup. Alright, so now we're gonna go into conventional time. I'm gonna help you guys decide on what you need to do conventionally, because this is really easy work. The hardest thing you'll do is your choices on how to repair something. You know, because if you walk up to it and it's got a bunch of little bitty light dents like the hood of my car, that's pretty easy PDR. You know you're gonna PDR that. But what do you do on the borderline ones? The ones you're not sure about? You know, you've got 100 dents, you know they could PDR it, but you know it's a Hyundai and that hood replaces it like $900. You know, so you're always gonna err to the side, just replace it. Because that way you've given them the most money you can give them, and they can get the job done correctly. Okay? Because if you write it for PDR and then they gotta replace it, then you're going the wrong way, you know what I'm saying?
You missed out on some money.
Yeah, that, it looks like you underwrote the claim and then, you know, so something like that. Goes back to the 10% rule. If you're 10% override, nobody's ever gonna complain. Not even the insurance company. You know, they would pay everybody 10% extra to not have supplements, to not have complaining customers, to not have complaining insureds, and that sort of stuff.
So like if the hail damage is $900 worth of damage, what the roof is $980. Go to the $980 just because we know what.
Either that or talk to the technician that's right there saying, hey man, look at this hood. You gonna PDR this? And he says, yeah, but it's close to replacement. So just look at how much it costs to replace, write in your matrix, and then write an extra line, off matrix PDR repair, make it total that.
Okay, so we're.
Because you always wanna write your estimate how he's gonna repair it.
Okay, so it's just to talk with them.
Yeah. Oh, but if you're out in doing field, you're not gonna have a tech with you. But if you're in a shop, you'll have one.
Understood.
But if you're out in the field, you're gonna make a decision on yourself, so you're just gonna write replace. And then he can flip it back in the shop. But you always wanna write the claim on how they're gonna repair the vehicle, if you can. Cause you don't wanna write it for replace if he's gonna PDR it, because technically, there was a situation at John Eagle Lincoln Mercury. You're from Dallas Forward.
Yeah.
You probably heard of John Eagle.
Yeah.
Okay, they were in business for a long time. Had a car come into the shop. It was about $100 difference on replacing the roof or PDRing the roof. Well, the insurance company said, no, we're not paying you the $100. We're gonna replace it. So they replaced it in the body shop. Well, on a roof skin, the big old roof panel on your car really just sets down on there. They run glue up and down those lines, they glue it, and they go back and they pinch weld it. It's got spot welds on it. Well, this place didn't spot weld that. They just glued it down. They missed a step. Not a big deal on a roof normally because it ain't going anywhere. This car was sandwiched between two trucks. The roof caved in and killed 2 people. John Eagle Lincoln Mercury lost a $42 million lawsuit over that $100 on that roof. If they would have just paid the $100 and PDR'd that roof, not saying you'd have 2 people alive right now, because you get pinched between 2 semis, you're probably not gonna make it. But John Eagle would have lost $42 million, you know? So, yeah. So every thought process you have has a repercussion or a liability attached to it, whether you realize it or not. Okay, when you're looking at that hood and you don't know whether to replace it or PDR it, if you write it for replace, let them decide. Move the liability. That's CYA. You know, there's a lot of times we get asked questions for stuff. Well, I know the answer. He knows the answer. I'm not going to give you an answer. I'm going to call up the chain and let somebody up the chain give you an answer, because in that way the liability is on them. It's their money. You know, just like I told you earlier with USAA, don't get in that way. Let them decide what to do with their money. You make a decision, your ass on the line. They make a decision, let them have it. You know what I'm saying? So always have that liability thought process in your head. Which means when you're discussing with an insured, you know, and they say, hey, well, what about this, what about this, what about this, coverage-wise? Ma'am, I'm just the field damage appraiser for hail. Realistically, I know all the answers to that. And that number one, that ain't my job. Number two, maybe they changed their policy and I didn't know it, you know? Even though I think I know everything, I don't know everything.
Your adjuster said you're gonna pay this much.
Yeah. And you'll have this, you go out there and look at the car, and they'll hand you an estimate from the roadside hail PDR guy, and the roadside guy got $17,000, and you're looking at this car going, man, I'm gonna get you 4 or 5. What do you think's gonna happen? Well, you write a $5,000 estimate there, that insurer's gonna complain. Well, you're just gonna have to let that take its course, because really what you're doing, them complaining is drawing out that roadside shop for overriding. So there's always two sides to it. You know, you think, oh shit, I'm gonna be in trouble. No, that guy's writing on himself by writing a $17,000 estimate. He's now the customer who